All right, everyone. Hello. Good afternoon. You guys are in for a treat. This is really special what we have for you today. Good afternoon. My name is Dan, and on behalf of Book Soup, I'd like to thank everyone for joining our virtual event with Gibby Haynes, author of Me and Mr. Cigar, and Thomas Lennon, author of Ronan Boyle and the Swamp of Certain Death. We are so excited and grateful that our bookstore can continue to bring authors and their works to our community during this uncertain time. We will be hosting more virtual events in the near future, and you can learn more about them on our website as well as our social media. Our next event is scheduled on Tuesday, May 19th at 6 p.m. with Maggie Downs in conversation with Eden Lepucky, discussing Braver Than You Think, Around the World and the Trip of My Mother's Lifetime. For regular updates on upcoming events, please feel free to subscribe to our email newsletter. This afternoon's virtual event will end with a Q&A. To submit a question, please use the Ask a Question button at the bottom of the screen. If you see a question on the list that you'd like for our speakers to answer, please click the like button, and we will try to answer as many questions as time will allow. Also, please consider supporting our bookstore and Gibby Haynes and Thomas Lennon by purchasing a copy of today's featured books. Just click on the green purchase button directly below the viewer screen in the center. That link will redirect you to our website where you can continue your checkout process. And we'll be selling digital audiobooks and ebooks through Libro FM and Kobo for those who are interested. With that said, let me introduce our guest speakers for this afternoon. Gibby Haynes is a musician, visual artist, writer, and filmmaker, best known as a founding member of the Butthole Surfers, whose outrageous concerts spawned a global cult following and whose albums have sold millions worldwide. He lives in Brooklyn with his family. Me and Mr. Cigar is his first novel. Today, he is in conversation with Thomas Lennon, a writer, comedian, and actor who has worked on dozens of movies and TV shows, including Reno 911 and Night at the Museum. His new book, Ronan Boyle and the Swamp of Certain Death, is the second in his hilarious book series. Book 1, Ronan Boyle and the Bridge of Riddles, is now out in paperback. Thomas is also the co-author, along with Robert Ben Garant, of the excellent screenwriting book, Writing Movies for Fun and Profit, How We Made Billions of Dollars at the Box Office, and you can too. And I remember we did the book event when that book launched years ago. And without further ado, I'm going to turn over the camera to Gibby Haynes and Thomas Lennon. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentation.
There you go.
Welcome to the Gibby Haynes event. Hi, Gibby.
Tell me, what is that?
What's that? That was Back in Black.
There you go.
Yeah.
Black in Black.
Hi, I thought I wasn't sure how to start the event with Gibby.
We're doing it.
Yeah, I thought I would make you recite the Scout oath. The Boy Scout oath.
It goes like that. How does he do it?
You do it 3 fingers up like this. A lot of people don't know that I'm a high-ranking Boy Scout, or I was.
Really?
Yeah. Other than being
you've seen the commercials on television, right?
So here it goes. Ready? We'll start the crowdcast with, on my honor.
On my honor.
I will do my duty.
I will do my duty.
To do my best.
To do my best.
To God and country.
To God and country.
To help other people at all times.
To help other people at all times.
To keep myself physically awake. Mentally.
To keep myself physically awake.
Mentally straight.
Mentally.
Morally. I blew it. Physically awake, mentally straight, and morally whatever.
Can you really say that?
Yeah, we used to say that every day.
Thing? Sorry.
Very good, Gibby. So people who don't know, I'm getting so much echo in my ears. I think it's me.
Oh,
am I echoing to everyone or just to me?
Timberlake?
Just to me. Okay.
Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm
So,
sorry. Okay.
I guess I should open with Gibby. Do you want to explain how we know each other?
Wow, that's a good question. What brought
Do you
us
remember
here?
how we know each other?
No, I don't. Would it be through Jim?
We got introduced by a really cool guy named Jim Haynes.
Yes.
And then one day, Jim, when I met you, he was like, my friend Gibby Haynes is coming down. I'm like, not the guy from the Butthole Surfers. And he's like, that exact guy. And then we went on the Natchez Riverboat together in New Orleans.
That
was
awesome.
The greatest day. It was just a magical day. Us and Satchel and everybody goofing around, listening to Dixieland. Gibby sounds a little overmodulated, apparently.
What happened? What was really great that day? Okay, this was framed in a. You guys were making a movie, a horror movie, in New Orleans, and we just found ourselves together on a riverboat.
Yeah.
Enough. That's it.
That was it. It was the best.
That's it.
Oh yeah, that's how we met. And then we stayed friends because I was like, wow, this Gibby's a really interesting cat. And then that's it. That was the boat. I'm glad. I have one of my prized possessions is I have, you know, when they make you buy a wacky photo at the end of an event?
Absolutely.
Gibby, I have the wacky photo of us on the Natchez Riverboat. And it's a cool photo. And I think I only had to pay like $130 for it when they take it as you come off the boat.
We kept ours.
Okay.
Yeah, about several thousand.
Yeah. So then I think we're going to start. We're all going to read from books. Gibby's going to read from Me and Mr. Cigar, which is his very beautiful book. I have it here. I've actually had it for kind of a long time, but there's the beautiful cover. Sometimes you put a great big spoiler in the cover, like that hand. I try to not do spoilers that big in the cover, but so I think Gibby you were going to read first from Me and Mr. Cigar. I don't want to be the guy that points out, Gibby, there's a typo in your title.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
I mean, that's classic Gibby Haynes stuff because that's a full blown.
You mean it's wrong?
Yeah, it should be. You always put me second, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
thought it was obviously like a really kind of brave choice.
Here's my editor, me and my editor discussed this.
Oh, that you were going to put a typo in?
Well,
I get mine. My editor yells at me a lot too. Maggie Lerman, she's great.
Oh, you had a Famali editor.
Maggie Lerman, she's really amazing, but she also she finds really sad mistakes that a grown man shouldn't be putting in a novel. Yeah, I do it all the time.
A lot of people most people don't realize or put it together, the involvement of the relationship between author and editor is really amazing. Then did you come in contact with many different kinds of editors? Did you get the technical editor that was really freaky?
No, but we have there's the editor and then there's the copy editors.
Yes, that's the scary person.
I know the copy editors at Abrams who publish my books and they do beautiful work. I know those copy editors really, really probably talk about me behind my back.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like this guy's so dumb. How did he put his thoughts together? Yeah.
That he's dumb. He's racially insensitive. He's
you. By the way, this whole crowdcast is in no way an endorsement for a terrific show. I think so. Gibby, you're gonna read first, yeah?
Cool.
Mm-hmm. So this is from.
It definitely glows in the dark.
This is from Me and Mr. Cigar by Gibby
Yes,
Haynes.
this is
available literally right there. I can't find it. Oh.
oftentimes in these, book events, people say, well, Gibby, why the fuck did you write a book? So what I did was I wrote a little kind of intro, and I'm going to read that to you right now. As a young child, I would lay in bed side by side with my father while he read to me while I fell asleep. Sometimes I was unaware of his departure, while other times I lay half asleep with the imagery of what I had just heard dancing in my head. The first book he read to me was a picture book called Pecos Bill. He read it so many times I memorized it word for word. The second book, amazing. The second book was Charlotte's Web, a savage tale of triumph, desolation, and renewal. It was this book that kept a voice in me for all these years saying, you know, someday I'm going to write me one of those books of my own. I grew up in Dallas, Texas in the 60s, part of a classic American family in an idyllic suburban neighborhood, totally winging it in a decade of A-bombs, assassinations, and intense social change. I would hope that a young person reading this book would acknowledge the craziness of their own world, to flee from it, as well as to embrace it, and above all, to reach for the stars. I love that. To read, that's so Casey Kasem. I have a theory that when a person is born, they are given 3 dogs. Now, this is like for real. I have a theory that when a person is born, they are given 3 dogs. The first one shows you that you have to live and die. The second one teaches you how to cope with it, and the third one is there to comfort you. It's a 3-dog life, and Mr. Cigar is definitely number 1. I tried to tell a story that I might like to have read when I was a 13-year-old, something slightly dangerous, slightly funny at that particular age of newfound emotions, loss and loneliness at the dawn of grown-up love. Oscar has suffered loss and sometimes finds himself both alone in a room and alone in a crowd. It's a wacky world out there. Oscar is in love with it all. Then dash Gibby Haynes.
Gibby, I gotta ask because the Oscar.
You gotta ask.
I got asps in the house. Is there anything you can do? You're from Texas. What do you do when your house is full of asps? No, I got to asp something. Oh, look, you got a childhood friend in the chats.
Oh no.
Yeah, Missy from Lake Jackson. But Gibby, I got to say, so you grew up, could you tell us a little bit about your childhood? Because in the book, Oscar lives in a house with a couple of cooks, right?
There's
always pork and beans cooking. Was that like the house you grew up in some ways? Because I know there was.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I was trying to paint a picture of somebody. I'm trying to think of the person that it was.
He lives like a kind of a lavish, somewhat. Yeah, they live in like a crazy mansion on a hill. Yeah.
Yeah. He's rich ass motherfucker.
Right.
Sorry.
Those people are the word. Hey, your son is on. Gibby, your son's on right now. I can see him typing.
There he is. Oh no. Well, you know what? He uses that word more than I do. I just want to tell you that.
I never thought I taught that word to Oliver, but apparently I did much earlier than I expected. Hi, Satchel. But your dad, Gibby, your dad was like a Texas celebrity, right?
Yeah, he was. Yes, Dallas. Yes, he was. He had a children's television show for years and years and years. Mm-hmm. It was if people out there aren't familiar with my father's television show, it was called Mr. Peppermint, and it was sort of a non homoerotic Mr. Rogers. That's about it.
Yeah. Wow, it's amazing that I never saw that because that defines a lot of my adult life, really. So So yeah, I thought I got to say, when I was reading Gibby's book, and I'm going to read from it later too. We're kind of going to bounce back and forth. The inspiration was I saw Sting and Peter Gabriel a couple years ago, and they just went back and forth and back and forth. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah,
this is not possible.
It's not possible.
Did you just see them together? What were they doing? Were they performing?
Oh my goodness, it was incredible. So it was Sting and Peter Gabriel, and they were like, they had one band to play all of their songs, like a super group, and they just went back. No one ever left the stage. They played all the hits. Yeah. And if, by the way, if you're wondering,
both of their hits.
They played all of the hits.
Every little thing she does is magic,
and we'll do them too. So if you stay till the end, we're gonna do Message in a Bottle, and we actually are doing some Butthole Surfers. Because everybody know, and Gibby, just before we move on with the more readings and such, you know that the Amazon Alexa. Oh, ready? Let's try it. Oh, she won't say. She will not say the name of your band.
Yes, she will. Alexa, Butthole Surfers.
I pronounced that Butthole Surfers, but I'm always working on how I say things, and I might not have it right.
She just said it.
In my house, and Ollie is in the back room, can agree. She bleeps it.
She does.
Yes, she goes beep. Hole Surfers.
Did she not just say Butthole Surfers?
She did in your house. I think you're the only person's house in the world where she says that.
Every little thing she does is magic. Every little thing she turns me on.
So wait, we're gonna do, and then I'm gonna read from Mr. Cigar. Should we stick with Mr. Cigar for a little bit?
Yeah. No.
Or you want to go back? Okay.
Let's go with Ronan Boyle.
So we'll go to Ronan Boyle. Gibby was gonna read a little section from the first.
Please let me. Oh my God! Yes, this is the first book. I wasn't. This is a great scene. So this is for those who don't know, and I feel like if you're in a chat with me and Gibby, you probably know a little bit about us. This is about the books are about teenage kid in Galway, Ireland, who gets recruited to work for the special unit of Tir na Nog, which is a they just deal with the magical creatures, but it's the magic. The leprechauns don't do like big, amazing magic. They like steal your stuff and steal your shoes and steal your wine. They're just jerks. Yeah. Dude, I really want to see this Harryhausen style.
There's some discussion of that.
I really want to see it like that. I really want to see it.
I know.
Dude.
Cool. So Gibby's going to read from Ronan Boyle's In the Land of the Fairy Folk in Ireland, which is called Tir na Nog. Oh, look at that. Book Soup just posted it up.
Well, good for them. Those
and then
mofos.
They're pretty badass. So here comes a reading from the first Ronan Boyle book, and then I'll read something from the later, and then we're going to bounce back and do some more me and Mr. Cigar.
Let's just keep rolling. On it was scribbled the name of a notorious nog bottom establishment called Bob and Things Famous Pickle Parlor. Captain de Valera rolled both her green eyes and her brown eye up simultaneously in disgust. This is a bad place. The Pickle Parlor is the rock bottom of this town. Nothing but lowlife. Stay on your toes, Boyle, she said. Our journey to Bob and Things Famous Pickle Parlor took Lily, the captain, and me from the left end all the way to the far side of Nog Bottom, which, as it turns out, is about a 3-minute walk. Bob and Things Famous Parlor exists outside the very few laws of Nog Bottom because it lies below the city limits. I love that. As one must ride an ancient hand-cranked lift made from an old pickle barrel down one of the outer bluffs to the tunnel that leads to the parlor, which is in a cavernous rathskeller below the city. The captain ordered Lily to wait at the surface as a backup in case we got into serious trouble. Honestly, I didn't always understand the commands between Lily and the captain as this early point in my training, is an early point in the training, but it seems they knew each other very well. And one thing that was certain was that Lily could be trusted to the ends of the earth. As Captain De Valera and I rode down in the lift barrel, we could hear accordion music pumping up from below us. The captain explained to me the history of the place, which goes like this. All right, here we go. Bob and Thing's famous pickle parlor is a speakeasy that was opened in 1723 by a leprechaun named Bob the Giant. He was 2 feet 3 inches tall, a giant. His partner was a thing, and nobody ever knew exactly what it was, so they just called him that thing. Depending on whom you ask, that thing looked either like an enormous bat with tiny wings or a morbidly obese rat with mutton chop. Nobody knew much about him except that he had magnificent black hair that he would brush with a mother-of-pearl comb. That thing was the brains of the operation and famous for his business acumen. Bob was the front man who dealt with customers. Since the day they opened, the pickle parlor had served only one thing: pickles, straight out of the barrel. That's all they served were pickles, but not just any pickles. The pickles served at Bob and Thing's famous pickle parlor are 1,000,000 times spicier than anything a human being could eat. And this is really serious. Not just any pickles. This is it. If a human were to take a bite out of a pickle parlor pickle, he would explode, literally explode. I regret to say there are memorials in Collins' house to 2 Garda officers who attempted to eat the very mildest pickles on the parlor's menu. Their smoldering hats and shoes were found 3 miles away from the Nogbottom in opposite directions. They just got blown out. But somehow, and for some reason, leprechauns love to eat these pickles, not just because of their spiciness, but because of the out-of-body experience that comes from eating something that's 1,000,000 times hotter than a Carolina Reaper. Does anybody know what a Carolina Reaper is? It is the hottest pepper in the world. And this is 1,000,000 times hotter than a Carolina Reaper. So believe it or not, leprechauns come to Bob and Thing's famous pickle parlor and pay several euros to eat one of these horrible items. What happens next is called the pickle fits. And I'm familiar with this thing. Watching leprechauns in the depths of the pickle fits is not a pretty sight. First, the leprechaun turns bright red, then smoke blasts from his ears, nose, and behind his asshole. The blast from their bottom is often so powerful, the blast from their asshole is often so powerful that it launches them into the ceiling of the pickle parlor, which is padded, I'm sorry, I'm getting excited, which is padded with old mattresses for this very reason. They have mattresses on the ceiling of the pickle parlor because leprechauns eat these pickles and their ass blows them up into the ceiling. The next stage of the pickle fits is the unstoppable giggles, and the leprechaun simply cannot stop laughing, while he dances like his insides are full of rattlesnakes and then lets out a burp that often burns off his eyebrows. This is oddly similar to the consumption of crack cocaine, Thomas. And leprechauns love this. Perhaps I'm a leprechaun. Perhaps the strangest thing of all about the pickle fits is that it only lasts 12 seconds. It leads a lot of poor leprechauns to a life of chasing the fits. Or as it's called, they're trying to recreate the experience over and over again. They're chasing their tail, baby. Chasing the tail. The moldy barrel lift arrived at the entrance to the famous pickle parlor where a hideous thing, clearly a descendant of the original co-owner, was guarding the door. This thing's features.
Oh, Gibby, I think we were going to stop because we're going to go back to your book in a second. But that was
okay.
That was
no,
perfect.
That's cool.
So that is the first mission.
I'm getting excited.
I know. You read it beautifully.
Okay, sorry.
So that is from the first Ronan Boyle book. And then do you want to do, we'll do one of the songs and then we'll go back to me and Mr. Cigar?
Every little thing he does is magic.
We're gonna do some police later for sure. Guys, I'm going to give a giant spoiler. A spoiler as big as like something like this.
Wow, that's my book. I wrote that. There we go.
Big spoiler. If you wonder, are we doing Butthole Surfers Pepper at the end of this crowdcast? The answer is a firm yes. So
why not?
I wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
We didn't really practice it. Oh, look, there's the link for Gibby's book. Me and Mr. Cigar. I'm going to quickly just read you one of the quotes on the cover of Me and Mr. Cigar. Fast-paced, brilliantly funny, irreverent, clever, quintessential teen reading, ipso facto a must-read for adults.
Okay, baby.
It takes a hilarious, bizarre, profane, and heartfelt... it takes a book as bizarre, profane, and heartfelt as Me and Mr. Cigar to truly convey the surreality. I've never used that word before. Surreality of coming of age as a teenage boy.
There you go.
These are cool quotes, man. Cool quotes. I know that he's watching. So, by the way, there's a little secret in my bio. For my books, and they asked, like, what do you want your bio to be in the books? And so I'm really proud of this. He's a good friend. I know that you know him, but I never changed my bio, and my bio is just this. Let's see if we can see it. Is it backwards or it's backwards? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh, it just says my only credit in my bio is that I've written some things, and I've appeared in the music video for Weird Al Yankovic's Foil.
Weird Al rocks, dude.
Which was just, I mean, when they were like, "What's your bio going to be?" I was like, "You could put in some terrible stuff. You could put in some good stuff." And I was like, "What if I just put in the one thing that I'm definitely really proud of?" And that was it. Not complicated. Just go with play the hits, man. Play the hits. Hey, Gibby, do you want to, maybe I'll read from Mr. Cigar, and then do you want to find do you have your unicorn lyrics around?
Oh, sure. Yes. Oh, I wanted to pretend that I wrote a song. And then. But anyway, that's cool.
It. This is why I shouldn't.
No.
Hey, Gibby, this is why I shouldn't skim the text. Read the whole text. You told me this before. So you want to do? Okay, let's do it. We'll do a song from Ronan Boyle, and then we'll go back to Me and Mr. Cigar, and then we'll cover all of the police. Oh wait, I know you're gonna start, but let me give you the. I did read the text.
Give me the music.
Yeah, here we go. Wait.
A man was brave. Is that where? Can we start there?
It'll start with that. But do you want the note to start it, or?
Yeah, please do.
Gibby, I gotta tell you, the robot whose name I'm not going to mention, in our house, she will not say the name. She won't say it.
Every little thing she does is magic.
Pretty good. Okay, ready? So here's it'll be. There's always somebody on the Crowdcast with perfect pitch, so I just want it to be. So this is
Chinese song, tuning.
Okay, you ready? Oh man.
There we go.
Oh wait, it's gonna end up being like this.
Wow. The man was brave, but I vow. He stood by the benches, his big blades all red. But that's the path that we instead.
For he was killed by Union. Killed.
By unicorns. Mother Mormons.
We're all gonna get killed
By
unicorn.
Let's go to the theater.
So I gotta say, I've gotten a lot of flack on the Ronan Boyle books from people that love unicorns, and there's a lot of people being like, "Why would you make unicorns the bad guys?" And the answer is, yeah. But here's what I gotta say. In book 2, you'll see the unicorns aren't necessarily the bad guys, but why would nature or magic make an animal with that on their head if it's not to kill something else? Right?
Wow.
What is that possible? Like, nature finds life finds a way.
Well,
So
what
unicorns,
does there's animals? What does
the narwhal,
what does he do with it?
kill stuff.
What does the like those other fish do with it?
They kill stuff.
There you have it.
Yeah. Like a unicorn's horn, it's not to like pick up spectrum cable. It's definitely, yes, Maisie Lord's sword on their head. Now I'm gonna do a reading from me and Mr. Cigar.
Really cool.
Which to me and Mr. Cigar,
you don't have to talk about it.
I'm happy. Gibby, we're here to talk about the books. What do you mean I don't have to talk about it, you nitwit?
I'd rather talk about your high school experience. But anyway.
Which one? My high school experience?
Yes.
Well, that's what's interesting. So I come from a novel writing high school.
No.
Yeah. I'm the editor of my high school newspaper when he was there in like 1914 was Ernest Hemingway. So Hemingway edited my high school newspaper when he was there. And then he dropped out of school and he went and drove an ambulance in Italy. And then he wrote he wrote Farewell to Arms and stuff. But so yeah. And now I'm going to read.
Say goodbye to your arms.
I'm going to read a little bit from me and Mr. Cigar.
Oh, it's so nice of you.
And then we're doing some.
Yeah, buddy.
We'll do all the police. Oh, no. Okay. So this will be from Gibby's beautiful book, which, so I'm from the town that Hemingway's from, but Gibby's from the world that Faulkner's from. I was going to read, I think either chapter 10. It doesn't have the numbers on this. Let's see. Oh yeah, so this is I think I can't see the chapter number.
Oh no.
No, I got it. Apex Predation.
There we go.
Did you spend, hey Gibby, dumb question. Do you spend a lot of time thinking of your chapter titles?
No, literally.
You don't at all?
No, not at all. Bam, bam.
You do. I think about them forever, and then I change them over and over again.
I just went bam. I just like blew through it.
That's an impressive thing to do. I need to, but like you have a chapter called Tommy Mommy Vomit. And that just came out like that, huh?
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you a couple of my favorite chapter titles from me and Mr. Cigar.
Awesome.
The Plymouth Win You Over beat goes on. Lake Emerson and Palmer. Bridge over the Root Canal. The Girl with the Drug Selling Eyes. One is just Zing ellipses Splash. I like that a lot.
You like that? Cool.
Wheat Cheapies. But I was gonna read, I think
Wheat Cheapies from a cracked plastic bowl.
Why don't I read Wheat Cheapies? It's right in front of me. Wheat Cheapies. This is page 44 of Gibby Haynes, me and Mr. Cigar. Not to be
read something like that.
Not to be published or stored in any form in perpetuity throughout the universe. Or just tweet it. That's okay. Seriously, you can buy the book down below. Fun. Okay.
Apparently, yeah.
Wheat Cheapies. Ahead of me, where Mr. Cigar should turn left toward the parking lot, he suddenly sprints hard right. Then, complete silence. Complete silence that is, with the exception of the unmistakable sound of a police radio. I stop dead in my tracks. From around the corner appears a man with a badge on a chain around his neck and a gun on a belt around his waist. Waist. It's spelled two ways. That's the fun of the book. Same thing. He's totally gross in every way. Definitely not the apartment complex security guard. He's a cop, and I'm going to have to dig a grave to explain my way out of this shit. An almost comical, overstated Texas accent. What are you doing here in this here housing complex, son? You don't belong here, he drawls, without allowing me to answer. You know, these are state-funded apartments, and you're trespassing if you don't actually live here. Louder and more rapidly, he pesters. Let's see. You're in the projects to get some dope? You smoke that ketamine? That shit's a trip, huh? Turn around, put your hands against the wall. Giving me no chance to respond, he spins me around hard, pushing me against the wall with one hand between my shoulder blades and the other hand in my pockets. He begins sputtering questions about sharp things and weapons. I shake my head, no, and start formulating a believable response to his compromising line of questioning. Spinning me back around, he looks me hard in the eyes and repeats, "So, son, what are you doing in the Shady Oaks housing complex?" Then it comes to me. My dog. Gulp. My dog, sir. An uncomfortable pause. You talking about that dog that went tearing out of here with something in its mouth right before I rounded this ghetto corner? I barely have time to nod yes. Now, what do you mean, my dog, sir? He mocks. What about your dog? I point toward the convenience store on the other side of the parking lot and explain that I had pulled in to get a bottle of water and my dog jumped out the car window and ran into the apartments. So I parked my car and I came looking for him. Smirking, he nods. You're in a high crime drug zone looking for your dog. Guess you got all the answers, kid. Suddenly, a burst of static erupts from his walkie-talkie, followed by jargon and cop numbers. That's a great line, Gibby. Jargon and cop numbers. He looks menacing at me. I got to respond to this goddamn domestic situation, son. So if I were you, I would get out of here and never come back. If I catch you in Shady Oaks again, Oscar, you're going straight to jail or worse. I manage, thank you, I'm sorry, I guess. Walking past the officer toward my car, I'm surprised he can't hear my heart pound. Shuddering, I feel dirty. He smelled like Axe body spray, and I get the feeling he thinks the duck calls he orders over the internet come from a river in South America as opposed to a warehouse in Fresno. I mean, Jesus, good help must be hard to get around here. I sneak a quick glance over my shoulder at his badge. Last name is Acox. I marvel at the understatement. Either he is so stupid he didn't realize he called me by my first name without seeing my ID, or, he could be slyly letting me know that he knows what I'm up to. Obviously, he knows me. But why would he do that? He really seemed cop-like in the IQ department. The former seems more likely, but still the latter swings a lot of potential weight. I just need to arrive at my car, get to the airport, and all will be good. Not to mention finding Mr. Cigar. Walking past the last row of apartments on the second floor walkway, staring right at me, was none other than Larry freaking Teeter. That's a great. I love the whole book, but that's a fun chapter.
Larry Teeter.
Larry Teeter.
Dick wipe.
So that's from me and Mr. Cigar by Gibby Haynes.
There you go.
Tremendously fun. And then are we going to read
that? You sounded like you liked it.
Me? I love it.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, Gibby, it's a great book, man. Actually, Jim Hentz, I wonder if he's around, but Jim Hentz sent me your book way, way early back in the day. He's like, Gibby's got a book. And I was like, that's great. I don't want to pay for it. Send me the PDF of it. Because, like, that way I can keep that guy down. No, please, if you guys can buy a book in the real world, like with our friends at Book Soup, right there.
Is that it? Yeah, you found
down
it?
there. And by the way, I every time I've held up a book or the iPad with your book on it, Gibby, I realized how dirty I am. And sorry, guys, it's just quarantine life, just keeping it, just cleaning the inside of every lock that I could find. Gibby, that's a beautiful book, man.
Dude. Oh, and back at you. And thanks, what I really like your similes. Dude, you're a genius. You and Ben. Do you guys write together by any chance?
When we're writing the movie stuff, yeah, we write together, but we never write in the same room ever.
Oh wow!
We tried that once, like the first time we wrote a movie, when we were writing a movie that it came out called Let's Go to Prison. Yeah. And it was written by a dude who'd been to prison like many times. And it was basically a handbook. No, Perry, you won't leave the party if you buy the book. Buy the book. I'm looking at the chats on the side. This is like such an awkward thing because Gibby is also my IT guy. So he's running all my. Oh, I was going to do. Okay, guys, I'm going to tell you right now. We're doing Pepper later, right?
I don't mind the sound sometimes.
No, I know. We're doing it.
The image.
My family will tell you I practiced all day.
Oh.
Okay, I was going to do one. I'll do one other reading from the new Ronan Boyle book. Sorry about the fingernail, guys.
Oh, sweet. Because I don't have it yet.
This is yeah. I should have sent it to you if I was a classy dude. I would have done that.
A Dassy Clued.
So Ronan Boyle
my MTV shirt
is back, and the bam 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 bam. TV. It's MTV. You guys, Butthole Surfers must have been on Beavis and Butthead, right?
Dude, those guys, Mike Judge
Yeah.
made the world safe for the word. I don't know if I'm saying this right.
Yeah.
Butthole. Mike Judge made it cool, made it okay to say butthole.
Right.
Thank you.
It's still at our house and on the Alexa, it's not really cool. She gets the robot. Oh, I shouldn't say her name because when you say her name, she wakes up and she sometimes says stuff. So this is from Ronan Boyle in the Swamp of Certain Death.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm really proud of this. I think it's, the first. Hey, Gibby, dumb question. Sorry. Is Me and Mr. Cigar your first novel?
Yes, it is.
Yeah?
Yes.
An interesting thing is you'll find, it's a little bit like everything. The second time you do it is a little bit easier. Yeah.
I'll have you know that my second novel begins with bodies flying at high velocity into houses.
Yep.
About a quarter mile from your high school.
Oh, nice.
Yep. On a street on Erie. I believe it's Erie Avenue, or is it
Erie Street runs through Oak Park, my hometown.
Yep, right there. Yep. Right there.
So this is a chapter from chapter 10 from the Ronan Boyle book 2. Oh,
sweet.
Firehair Wilding. I don't know how you called it. How was I not going to read the chapter with the snakes? So Ronan Boyle is on a houseboat going up the River of Gloom in the land of the fairy folk. And he's on his way to try to save Lily. By the way, these books are major dog-related books.
Yes.
That's Ree the Wolfhound. And on all the in the special unit of Tir na Nog, a wolfhound can have an equivalent rank to a human.
Oh wow! Do you have a dog now?
We got 2. Lilo, who you used to know, is in heaven. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. In fact, we actually scattered some of her ashes right next to the Natchez Riverboat because she loved New Orleans so much.
Aww.
But when you're, the next thing you do is that's it. You find a dog who you can help is the next thing you do. And then it saves your life. Much like your book. Okay. So this is from the second Ronan Boyle book, Ronan Boyle in the Swamp of Certain Death. Oh, Leslie Margolis. Hi. Oh, speaking of who's a great writer, Leslie Margolis is down over in the corner. This is my neighbor and my friend. She's written many, many books.
Really?
Oh, yeah. If I Were You, the last one was We Are Party People. Ghosted. Thanks, Leslie. Just start listing them. We Are Party People, Ghosted, If I Were You. Oh, my gosh, there's a bunch of them. Leslie, shout them out. We're here. The Maggie Brooklands Mysteries. Oh no, Lilo did. Oh, by the way, Jenny Lennon is chatting in the back room, and she remembers, Gibby, that Lilo did. We snuck her in a bag onto the.
She was on the riverboat.
Yep.
Aha.
We snuck her in like a little bag, and they do like full TSA checks before you get on that boat. And somehow, I think Jenny will correct me, but the guy saw Lilo and was like, because you know what? Sometimes people actually are awesome. Like right when you think people are going to be horrible, sometimes they're like they see that I've got a little tiny dog I want to bring on the riverboat, and the answer was
cool,
man.
Aww.
Yeah, it was cool.
Oh, did you snort?
Maggie Brooklyn Mysteries.
Did you just snort?
I just snort when I laugh really hard. I snort. Okay,
Wow.
so this is chapter 10 called Nightfall from the Ronan Boyle book 2, illustrated by a full-blown genius named John Hendricks.
Oh, really? He's great.
Oh my God, that dude is
Great,
crazy.
dude. Yeah. Really did a good job. Really
He did a super funny
encapsulated.
thing. I don't know if John's watching, maybe he is. But on the first book, he legally didn't get his name on the cover, but he just put it there. And I got to say, I think that's a great life lesson. Sometimes just put your name there. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I love it so much. And like his name looks cool, and I love it, and our names are next to each other. Oh, wait, here comes Ollie. Ollie, come say hi to Gibby.
Pretty close to a perfect illustration for your novel.
I know,
really
it's crazy.
is.
Do you have a question for Gibby? Okay. You just come say hi?
Yeah.
Show your beautiful face. Oh, okay. So this is a reading, and then after this, we're only playing the hits.
Read
Chapter 10.
on.
Nightfall. The second half of the 5th century was a humdinger for Ireland. A young British boy was brought to the Emerald Isle by Irish pirates. You thought regular pirates didn't care about dental hygiene? Wait till you meet Irish pirates. Yikes. The worst. The songs that Irish pirates sing have lyrics so filthy that you will spend a year in prison in any civilized European country just for humming along with them. The boy was an enslaved worker for 6 years, doing chores for pirates who were as lazy as they were filthy. Then, in what must have been an action sequence worthy of a film starring a dirt-covered Colin Farrell in a tunic, the boy karate chopped, punched, and kicked his way to freedom, busting noses, swinging on ropes, and snapping the arms of Irish pirates. In my mind's eye, portions of this boy's escape are set in slow motion to the song Mama Said Knock You Out. The boy went to France, studied to be a cleric, and then returned to Ireland as a missionary. Maybe you're thinking that this young boy would go on to be known as Pirate Fighter, but no. Even better, he would go on to be known as Saint Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland. When Saint Patrick returned to the Emerald Isle, he did 2 things. He tried to make everybody follow the new religion that he was working for, and he banished all of the snakes. Yes, there is not one single snake on the island of Ireland. Why? Because of Saint Patrick. Where on earth did he send all of those snakes? The answer is that they were banished to Tir na Nog, very specifically to the Swamp of Certain Death. The very same swamp we were currently chugging through at 1 nautical kilometer per hour in a rusted houseboat piloted by a mop and her charming Tulakosh sidekick. When the sun goes down, the snakes come out. All of them. The snakes have been living here and multiplying for almost 1,600 years with no natural predators. The snakes haven't just survived. They've thrived. Little snakes? Check. Poisonous snakes? You bet. Anacondas? Sure thing, pal. At dusk, the surface of the Swamp of Certain Death becomes, not figuratively, all snakes. It's a rush hour of snakes going, well, wherever snakes go. It's not that they're evil snakes per se, nor can they talk. The snakes have no real agenda. They have regular snake attributes. The frightening part is the volume of snakes. Take the number of snakes that you're imagining and then multiply it by 10, and then that times 10, and then scream. Snakes on top of snakes. Snakes raining down out of the trees onto the deck of the ship. Snakes up your kilt. Snakes in your hair. Snakes under your jaunty beret. The mop must have been driving because Capitan Healy rushed out onto the deck to pass out torches, which smelled like they had been soaked in vinegar. "No screaming!" she cried out. "You make screaming and the snakes panic and they start to bite." Brilliant. So we were about to be in a world where it rained snakes from above and below, and it was important to keep very quiet. Ree, who was a particularly brave wolfhound, then was frozen stiff when the snakes started raining out of the trees. He looked like a statue of a wolfhound. I scolded Figs in my head for not turning into, say, a mongoose, or even Figs. One of his friends is a. So I said snipe. I know. One of his partners is an undercover agent who's a puka. Anybody in the comments know what a puka is in Irish mythology? I'll let somebody say it in the comments. I scolded Figs in my head for not turning into, say, a mongoose, or even another kind of snake, or something useful that might help to wrangle the chaos a little bit. The boat is taking on beaucoup de snakes, too many beaucoup de snakes, cried out Captain Healy, pointing to the bow of the ship, which was sagging very close to the waterline from the weight of all of these snakes. The ship's steam engine sputtered into a lethargic groan, like a robot that did not want to get out of bed for school. It was abundantly clear how this swamp got its name. Our certain death was moments away. If something didn't happen soon, the Ucky Evil was going under. The torches would not light, of course. Vinegar doesn't have enough alcohol to burn properly. The torches just smoldered. Everyone with a free hand swatted and tossed the snakes overboard as quickly and quietly as they could. But as fast as you could bail snakes, more snakes would slither up over the gunwale or drop from above onto the deck. Oh, I should point out at some point, Ronan Boyle, my main character, has an imaginary Dame Judi Dench in his head who talks to him when he has a panic attack. Imaginary Dame Judi Dench on my left was doing more than her fair share, as is her style. I racked my brain for something that would be useful against an unlimited number of snakes. Something more efficient than silently, randomly throwing them. I was on two important vendetti, and I refused to end this mission on the bottom of a river. It also occurred to me that under the snakes, the swamp might be full of marrows. Marrow, anybody in the comments want to type it in? It's an Irish mythical creature. It's like a scary Irish mermaid, but much scarier. It occurred to me that under the snakes, the swamp might be full of marrows, also horrible. As I often do, I pictured how other special unit officers would handle something like this with aplomb. Okay, I'm going to jump ahead a tiny bit. Well, perhaps it is. This is an interesting thing about your book, Gibby, and my book. A lot of it is about our main characters are of similar ages, when I think you and I probably had like major stuff happen in our lives. So all the Ronan Boyle books are about his anxiety and him feeling like he shouldn't be where he is, which is the reason that the books are basically autobiographical. It's just, he's got allergies. He doesn't think he should be where he should be allowed to be where he is. In fact, so perhaps it's part of being 15 years old, but the inside of my noggin is a hamster on a Mobius strip, running frantic laps to nowhere and reminding me how everybody else is doing fantastic. How is everybody else doing so great? Then I started to wheeze. It was becoming apparent that I was allergic to some or many of these snakes. When I start to have an allergy attack, my breathing becomes very labored. Less blood flows into my brain. I start to see things, and sometimes I have mad thoughts. And just then, as I wheezed, I had my second mad idea of the past 24 hours, and I asked myself, WWSPD, which is the little acronym I made up on the spot for what would St. Patrick do? Wasn't it St. Patrick who'd banished all of these snakes single-handedly? How did he manage to do that in the first place? How does a young boy with no training in animal wrangling get rid of a lot of snakes all at once? Well, St. Patrick's big thing was turning people on to the teachings of Jesus. Maybe this was worth a shot. While the Boyles are not the most regular church types, I do have a pretty great handle on many of the top Jesus stories. I took a deep breath, and in my largest voice I could muster, I told these snakes a little bit about the man from Galilee, from the best of me recollection. And it came to pass there was a wedding held at Cana, which is in the Bible places. And Jesus went to the wedding with some of his mates, John, Paul, and George. Everything stopped. At the very mention of Jesus' name, the snakes turned to face me. The feeling was pure horror. Then,
Jeez.
almost in unison, the snakes rolled their eyes as if to say, "Oh, not with this stuff again." If snakes could shrug, oh boy, they would have. The stillness passed, and the snakes hissed at me, and I pressed on just like St. Patrick would have. And they ran out of wine at this wedding, maybe because Jesus brought so many of his mates who had not RSVP'd, and they didn't have a proper head count. But Jesus said, "Don't sweat it, for I'm Jesus, and I can turn your water into wine," and then he did. And this was actually, I think, the first miracle that Jesus performed, probably, I think, I preached. And to my astonishment, the plan was working. Annoyed snakes started slithering away from me. Just a few at first, and then it was a bona fide panic, as if someone had yelled Jesus in a crowded snake theater. Snakes shot toward the rails of the ship, piling on top of each other, trying to get away. I have no idea why snakes respond like this to the stories of Jesus, which are interesting and usually have both magic and a cool moral lesson. Anyway, this was not the time to ask questions. This was the time to preach at snakes who do not want to be preached at. I turned up both my volume and the preachiness to a zillion, peppering me impromptu sermon with lots of lows and whences and things that sound sort of biblical. Maybe it's the actual word Jesus that makes snakes mental. So anyway, Ronan gets rid of the snakes, but then he actually runs out of Jesus stories because he doesn't know that many. So he does Jesus walks on top of the water, and then when he runs out of them, he gets to and lo, he starts telling a story of Jesus Vallejo Lazaro, the defender for Real Madrid. So he just starts telling stories of a soccer player named Jesus, and it turns out the snakes hate that too. So, that's a little bit from Swamp of Certain Death. And then this is fun. Gibby and I'm not kidding at all that Gibby and I are gonna do Pepper later. But should we start to take the questions maybe? Because now we've been in for a bit.
Yeah, why not? Or is there anybody there that wants to ask?
There's 71-ish people there, it seems like, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's Dan here. I can ask the questions too. I can throw the questions out to you if you want.
Fun.
Yeah, good. Pick one. Oh, is that our guy?
Yeah.
Is that our book super?
Yeah, look at this one for me. Any Butthole Surfer experience that inspired your book?
What? Yeah, that goes out to you.
Any Butthole Surfer songs that inspired my work? Oh, to me.
Yeah. No.
Well, I'm definitely a fan. People inspire my work.
You're too.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
You're too young.
I mean, here's
young.
what inspires me. What inspires me is people who are super passionate about what they do. And if you look at the Butthole Surfers, one thing I will say about the Butthole Surfers is they remind me a little bit of The State, which is we could not have cared less what anybody thought about what we were doing. Like, yeah.
Groundhog Racetrack.
Porcupine Racetrack. Yes.
Porcupine Racetrack.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Porcupine.
I'm sorry. Oh.
Yeah.
I just never. That was could you describe that, Bunny? Just
Porcupine Racetrack. One of the cool things about it. Well, do you find sometimes, Gibby, that some stuff you write really, really quickly, like as if you had like a lightning bolt? Like often I don't have that, but Porcupine Racetrack I wrote in the time it took me to write it down. It's just really dumb. It's just porcupine, racetrack, porcupine.
Which it was so well done. It
Oh, well,
really
that's
was well done. It was like a really cool.
Well, speaking
I
of,
don't know. I don't know how to.
Yeah.
That's
you know what
very
it is? It's just
to
commit,
do.
as our friend Weird Al would say, dare to be stupid, but also really commit really hard. The secret of all the stuff in the state is no matter how dumb it was, the commitment level is very, very high. Yeah.
Well, it was just so. God, how can you say it? Just well done? I don't know how it just seemed
Commitment.
like a really good thing.
You gotta.
Well,
I would say like you gotta commit. If you think something's a really good idea, you gotta commit.
Musical from nowhere.
I know it was very, especially when we were trying to be like, we were the new MTV kids and we were trying to be like real badasses. And like all our sketches were like, I'm out of here. And we were all being like really like, we thought we were like a punk band. And then for us to do like the most upbeat musical that has there's no twist. I think that's really the joke. The joke is just look how sincere we can be.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Such a great musical. I mean,
you know, there has been people have joked / talked about like if the state ever did do a musical, and the state gets along pretty well right now. We do an exploded universe of Porcupine Racetrack. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm not sure it's an amazing idea. Can we take some other questions?
Okay, here's another one for both of you. Do you write all at once or in spurts?
Gibby, you want to take that first? Do you write all at once?
I don't write. Yeah, spurts.
Spurts?
Yeah, spurts.
It definitely is.
All at once.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, the only secret is the more you do it, the more good stuff you will have. It's so uncomplicated. But if you can make yourself do it, you'll have more stuff to throw away, which will ultimately make it better, you know?
I think you need to talk to Thomas about that because he's actually a writer. Oh my God, those guys are so good at what they do.
It also, like, in many ways, it never really gets easier. It's like, still, it's like, okay, get up, go sit. Don't see what's on TMZ. Just write something.
Do you do that? Do you write when you don't feel like writing? Do you do that? Do you make yourself?
I try to. One secret is I find, and I think this was a Hemingway secret too, is you get up crazy early.
There we go. I like that.
Because you get up crazy early, you're still kind of dreaming. You just like, the world's not vibrating yet, like really loudly, because often
I like that.
Right around 8 in LA, around like 8 a.m., the city starts to vibrate. And then it's, always kind of there. I mean, but like Leslie Margolis in the comments, Leslie can write like pages every day. She's incredibly strict. Leslie, is that true? Are you still in the comments? Oh, this is a great way to check if people stayed. Just ask them direct questions in the comments. No, she's gone. She's totally gone. She literally, to put in a plug for her book, Leslie Margolis has ghosted us.
Wow.
Another one, and then pretty soon we're going to do, I'm not kidding, we're doing Pepper.
Okay, I have one for Thomas from Stella, who's age 11, and she's a Ronan Boyle Uber fan. She said, what inspired you for the character of Dolores? Is she based off a real person?
Dolores Mullen is based a little bit off of, everyone in the book is based off somebody, but Dolores is based a little bit off of one of my best friends in high school. His name was Ann Sugg.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a real person behind almost everybody. I think if you can write and completely make up people that have never existed, I'd be so impressed. But for me, everybody in some way is based on something. I mean, Lily the main character, Ronan's sidekick, the dog is literally just Lilo. Yeah. That, I mean, I only changed her name a little bit, but everybody is somebody. So yeah, Dolores with the punk rock hair, and she's got a Douglas Adams tattoo. She's based on a very good friend of mine in high school named Ann Sugg, who was always cool.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, that's wonderful.
I'm trying to think if there's somebody in my book based on nobody, but there just isn't. Everybody is, for better or for worse, is always based on somebody. Yeah.
I have another question for Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Have you considered writing short stories featuring the supporting characters in Ronan Boyle? Or perhaps Tirnanog creature compendium, Never Forget Pierre.
Oh, Pierre. Poor Pierre the Fair Rig, who's left up in the steppes. Both of those are amazing ideas, and I hope I can steal them from whoever just asked that question. Because like it's interesting. I like the works of Roald Dahl, and then you get to like the Roald Dahl short stories, and that's where, like, to me, everything changes. His short stories are so crazy. So yeah, both a good idea. Yeah, short stories of some of the side characters, and then a compendium, a sort of a field guide to the useless creatures of Tirnanog. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Here's a question for both of you: how do you divide your time to do all that you do, and then also write manuscripts?
Sorry,
No,
Thomas.
tough. I mean, I don't know how the way you do everything never really changes. It's either you'll either get a lot of stuff done or nothing done. You know, it's like
Nothing. Snorted.
The way to do it is you just go do it, and then, I mean, the fact is, Gibby, did you ever write a book that like somebody just rejected at all? No.
No.
Oh. This book, the Ronan Boyle book, got rejected by almost 8 companies, I think. First.
You're kidding.
No.
Wow.
This is the way of the world. Yeah. Like, I mean, you got to remember, in publishing, all of the publishing companies, there's like 30 names, but they're actually owned by like 4 companies. So
well,
like,
I got you. But what did they want? What did they want?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow, that's really weird. I think it's just so. Oh man,
This is the world. You gotta sometimes, feel like you're right and just keep trying. Even when people, there's that's my publicist, Haley. She also can't spell. Isn't it so sad when the people that publish your book, like that's not how that word. Yeah. Actually, weirdly, I think you just wrote loves in all Roman numerals. If you is something, which I think it is. Should we do another question?
I have another one here. For each of you, how long does it take to sit down and write the book?
Sorry, what was that?
How long does it take to complete a book?
Gibby?
Oh wow. Depends on how long you did. It could be done in a month easily, or it could take 3 years.
I've never experienced the done in a month part, but I wish you the best. But Gibby, honestly,
imagine that.
Mr. Cigar, you basically had your entire life to write it. In many ways, you have to say it also took your whole life to hear until you wrote it. So
that's the same thing as a rock band. Your first record.
You got your whole life.
Yeah. The second one.
You have 11 months.
I know. That's why I remember telling. I was talking to Dave Grohl about. I was like, the way I look at it is that everybody has like three records within them,
Right.
and then after that, it's useless. And I was like, when I talked to him about that, and I was like, well, how many records have you done? He's like 15,
14, 15. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh well, some guys are like that. You just keep on doing the same.
That was one time I had dinner with. I was doing a movie with Kimberly Williams Paisley, and Jenny and I went and had dinner. And her husband was like, she was like, yeah, my husband has a lot of guitars. So I was like, oh, neat. And I was like, is he like a guitar collector? She's like, no. And then we realized later, just because sometimes your worldview is messed up, we were like, oh, we were sitting and having dinner. We didn't know him yet with Brad Paisley. It's like the biggest country star in the world. But the way he was introduced was that he has a lot of guitars. And we're like, oh, yeah, cool. Good for you, guy.
Wow, I love Brad Paisley. I wouldn't be able to identify any.
That guy shreds on the guitar. Probably my favorite guitar player.
He must.
Amazing.
Plus, he's Brad Paisley.
I know. He's a handsome, cool guy. Are there more questions?
Yes. David wants to know: are you guys going to do the police or not?
All right.
Every little thing she does is tragic. Every little thing turns me on.
Hang on.
Every little thing does.
We're geared up for
magic.
We're geared up to do some Butthole Surfers, but Gibby, you ready? Give it a shot.
You don't have to. A song worship, I'm wrong. Here we go. Sorry.
That was fun. I feel like we nailed it, right?
I'm thinking to the
Erica,
class.
thank you. That was exactly like the real police, I think.
I saw the police for 99 cents.
Yeah. We could, Gibby and I will put out the police records, but at a much more reasonable price.
It was actually, but anyway,
and then we're gonna do. We have a couple questions, and then we're gonna do Butthole Surfers. Ready?
Gosh, you want to do it? You want to bust it out? Is it time to leave?
To bust out Pepper? Sure. I see a couple questions left, but can we do it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, questions. Let's do questions.
Let's do it. Okay, give me 1 second, because
Sharon got you.
when you pointed out to me, you're like, I was like, Gibby, we got to close with Pepper by the Butthole Surfers.
Why not?
And I was like, I'll play it on guitar, and you're like, there's no guitar in most of that song, and I was like, good point, sir. Good point. So I was like, what can I find?
Oh yeah. Oh,
wait, guys, are there any more questions before Gibby and I bust out?
I have another one for Gibby.
Oh, Gibby.
I like that you have wahooing in your book. Do you have any great wahooing stories from the past? That's from Matt.
Wahooing?
Wahooing here.
Oh, there's been so many great ones. I mean, no, literally the story where I forgot. And,
I'm going to post a comment.
It was God, I think it was in the book. Oh man, golly molly bolly wally folly. Good jolly dolly bolly. Basically, what happened is we went in to steal beer, but we wanted to pay for it so this guy wouldn't get in trouble. And the guy, by virtue of the process, locked himself in the cooler. And we were able to walk away with beer. He was locked in the cooler for maybe 20, 30 minutes. And
But he lived, of course.
he eventually got out. Yeah.
Okay.
It took him like 20 minutes to get out. And it was a really wonderful, it was a really great experience. But yeah, and I think that was in the book. But wahooing beyond that, I think that was just a. Did you ever do any bold thievery when you were a teenager?
The state got into a lot of trouble. I was just talking about this the other day because we went to an event. The state was invited to, and we were very unruly. And I know that Satchel's watching in the other room and Ollie's watching in the other room.
No, he's not.
The state got invited to the William Morris fall party at the 21 Club in New York.
Oh, wow.
The first thing I did was I stole Regis Philbin's name tag from the check-in desk.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I was wearing Regis Philbin's name tag the whole time. Then we all thought it'd be funny to just pull down our pants and talk as if we were like very sophisticated people, but with our pants around the ankles. And a guy came over and said, "Gentlemen, it's the 21 Club." And then we felt like real jerks. And then as we were leaving,
no way, you didn't feel like real jerks.
Well, it's never fun to be yelled at. But so as we were leaving, Ben Garant, I guess he had heard that Harpo Marx stole a painting from the 21 Club. So he took a painting of a horse off the wall in the men's room and shoved it down his pants.
All right.
And
yeah. Yes.
He got stopped right at the door, and they were like, "Sir, we're calling the police." So yeah, the state did some. We were very obnoxious. And if I look back and if I saw a comedy group acting like what the state was like, these kids need a punch in the face.
Yeah. No, I've totally done that. And been ashamed, and then been complimented later on.
We were always trying,
It was appropriate what you did.
We would walk into like the MTV holiday party at the tunnel where there's like 2,000 people and it's in the tunnel in New York, the club in New York. And we were like, how can we make this about us?
Yeah, absolutely.
What horrible thing could we do to just like,
Yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't know you went through that phase.
Well, we were, when the state was on MTV, we were 23 years old, 22, 23.
Ah, that's great. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah,
You were drunk, no doubt.
Do we have a couple more? Because we're getting ready for Pepper. No joke.
There's another question.
Didn't we do?
We're doing Pepper, Gibby. We're doing Pepper. Why did I work on it all day?
I think we have one more for Tom. How to be
Okay.
the illustrator for the Ronan Boyle books?
That's interesting.
It was awesome. Really, really awesome.
That guy, his name is John Hendricks, and he absolutely shreds. And one thing I didn't know is when you do a big book like this, you don't pick the illustrator. The company does. Yeah. So the company picked him, and they're like, "It's John Hendricks." And I was like, "Oh, wait." I was like, "It's not Drawing is Magic, John Hendricks, is it?" Because he's got a book called Drawing is Magic. And I realized that we actually already had a couple of his books. So we were super, super lucky. this is a fun one. In book 2, Ronan Boyle gets put in a show. I've never said this publicly, but I guess I will. He starts working as the sidekick for a unicorn.
No.
Yeah. And the unicorn in book 2 is based very specifically on Morrissey. So if you read the book and you know anything about Morrissey, I think it'll add just a weird extra layer of fun to the.
Wow.
It's like, yeah.
I wonder where Morrissey lives nowadays.
I know he's kind of hard to locate.
I think that's it. There's a couple.
That's it?
Yeah, there's a couple of comments.
He lives right up the street from Johnny Depp. I'll just tell you that much.
I know he did for sure. Yeah.
Duh.
Okay, so please.
Right down
Okay,
the street from Maryland.
I started working on this today. Gibby, don't jump in early. Give me a second to get the.
You gonna try it?
I'm trying it. We're trying it.
All
Ready?
right, here we go.
This is a song by the Butthole Surfers. Please,
You want to do this
please.
thing?
We're doing it.
Okay, here we go.
Hang on.
Marky got with Sharon. Sharon got to read. Is that right? Right? Okay. All right. Turn over.
Ready?
Yeah. Sharon got to read. She was Sharon Dalek on the top of these. Mikey had a facial scar. Bobby was a racist. They were all in love with mine. They were doing it in Texas. Tom played the piano like a kid out in the rain. He lost his leg down. He was dancing with the train. They were all in love with dying. They were drinking from a fountain. It was pouring like an avalanche coming down the mountain. The sun comes down, the images it shows. I can taste you in my and smell you in my clothes. Then sugary and soft and lies. To other people.
Some will die in.
Some will die in house who will drink it to them. Some will die in numbers. Coming down the mountain. I'm in the sun down. You see me up and smell you. Sugar, stop, and light. The girl's back. The eye. 93. 93. Boy, howdy. I love that machine.
The instrument that if you're gonna play the Butthole Surfers at home, you gotta have this.
That one. Have you seen that dude from New Orleans that just kicks ass on one of those?
Yeah. I have seen that. It's like a famous clip. Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Okay, well that was super fun, guys. Gibby, I love you. I miss you. Love this battle.
There he is
Right
over there.
Is he over there? Hey, Ollie, come in here. Ollie's in the back house. Jenny, come in and
Let me
say hi.
see his ass. Let me see.
Come here. We're wrapping up the super fun crowdcast with Gibby. Come on in. Come on.
You see Satchel right there.
Oh my gosh.
There's my guy.
Satchel, if you ever need like a tuxedo that'll be a little bit small on you, I have a couple. Let's see. Where's my son? Here he is.
Oh, he's my guy.
I know. Your book is dedicated to him.
I just saw you
Well, he.
on the.
The first book is dedicated
I've never looked more horrible.
to Jenny Lennon. And then the second book is dedicated.
Wait. Have you ever in my leaf life loaf seen the devil devil with his leaf wife?
You remember Ollie?
Yes, of course. Satchel, you remember Ollie. Ollie remember Satchel. Yeah.
Oh, man. We did it together.
We did it.
Did we?
Yes.
Did we go over to that like wine place in the?
Bakken. Yeah, we might have. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys. That was super fun.
Love you, Thomas.
Love you,
your
Gibby.
family.
Buy Gibby's beautiful book.
Yeah, man.
Jim Hentz, if you're around, thanks for introducing us. Jim Hentz, one of the coolest Americans ever, really. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll do something.
I love it. And we'll just lay down Pepper the way it was meant to sound.
All right, bye-bye. Where do I press get out of here?
I'll take care of it for you. Thank you all. So thank you both so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
And
much,
by the way,
Book
thank you,
Soup.
Book Soup. What an amazing book.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
Thanks. It's awesome. This was really special. Thank you so much. Just
you,
remember,
guys.
you can purchase the book on that green tab down there. All 3 books.
Everybody that showed up here, thank you so much. And
Great.
I don't know how many of you there are.
There's 71, Gibby.
71 of us.
Yeah.
Good.
Press on Trahan. Not too bad. Press on Trahan.
Huge.
And this
That is
is
huge.
when it's over. So if you joined us late, you'll be able to view the whole program in about a minute after this program ends.
Oh,
So
fun.
It's been recorded.
thank you all.
All right.
Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah.